You walk into the kitchen with a clear reason in mind. By the time you're standing there, it's completely gone. This isn't a random glitch, and it's not just getting older. It's a specific, well-studied effect, and it happens right at the doorway itself, not before it and not after. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your brain does the instant you cross that threshold, and why walking back through it can bring the thought right back. Picture it. You're in the living room, and you decide you need something from the bedroom. Your charger, a book, whatever it is. You stand up and walk down the hall. And the second you step through that bedroom door, it's gone. You're just standing there in the room with absolutely no idea why you came in. Or it happens at your desk. You get up for something in another room entirely, and the walk itself seems to wipe the reason clean before you arrive. It happens to almost everyone at almost every age, and it happens specifically at the doorway, not simply because a few seconds of time went by while you were walking. What makes it strange is how selective it feels. You didn't forget your own name, or how to get back to the living room, or what day it is. Just the one specific thing you were holding on to a few seconds earlier. And it's not just at home. People report the exact same thing walking out of a meeting room, stepping off an elevator, or leaving one aisle of a store for another. Any threshold seems to be able to trigger it. The easy explanation is that your memory is just bad, or getting worse, or that you're too distracted, or simply getting older. But this exact forgetting has been shown to happen to a healthy 20-year-old about as reliably as it happens to a much older adult. The size of the effect was similar in both groups in the research. So age isn't really the story here. The other common assumption is that there's something almost magical about the physical door itself, like the door frame is somehow scrambling your thoughts as you pass through it. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain doesn't experience life as one continuous stream. It chops ongoing experience into discrete chunks researchers call events, and it builds a fresh mental model for each one. A location change, like walking through a doorway, is one of the clearest signals your brain uses to mark the end of one event and the start of the next one. And once that new event model takes over, information from the event you just left generally has to be pulled back from long-term memory. It doesn't just stay sitting in active working memory waiting for you. That's the real mechanism. It's not that the doorway erases the thought. It's that your brain closes the mental folder it was in, and your intention was filed inside that folder. This whole system exists for a good reason, by the way. It's not a design flaw. Constantly carrying every detail from every room you've ever stood in would flood your working memory and make it useless for whatever's happening right now. So your brain is making a trade-off. It aggressively clears out the previous event to keep your attention sharp on the current one, and once in a while, your own intention gets swept out along with everything else. And it's specific too. In one study using a virtual environment, doorway crossing reduced people's clear, conscious recollection of what they'd just seen, the "I definitely remember this" feeling, while leaving simple familiarity, that vague "this seems familiar" sense, completely untouched. So it's not that your memory shuts off. It's that one very specific, conscious kind of remembering gets disrupted, while the more automatic kind keeps working just fine underneath it. Here's the part that makes this genuinely interesting, not just a neat story. When other researchers tried to reproduce the classic doorway effect across several careful experiments, they found no significant effect in most of them. It only showed up clearly under one specific condition, when people's working memory was already under extra load. The researchers said this calls into question just how universal the original effect really is. That doesn't mean the doorway effect is fake. It means it's a real tendency that shows up more reliably in some situations than others, not an iron law that fires the same way every single time for everyone. There's an even stranger wrinkle in the data. Objects encountered right at the boundary itself are sometimes remembered better than objects from later in the very same event, a detail the leading theory didn't originally predict. One idea is that crossing the boundary actually reduces interference from everything that comes after, so the boundary moment gets a strange little memory bonus, even while everything just before it gets worse. Put it all together, and the honest picture is more interesting than a clean universal law. Doorways nudge your brain toward closing one mental chapter and opening another, and depending on the exact moment, that can help some memories and hurt others. So what do you actually do with this? Since the effect specifically hits conscious recollection, saying your intention out loud right before you cross the threshold gives it a real shot at surviving the reset. And if it's too late, you're already standing there, blank. Go back. Physically returning to the room where you formed the intention is a genuinely evidence-backed way to retrieve it, not just an old trick. If you can't physically go back, even picturing the room in detail, what you were looking at, where you were sitting, can help, since it's recreating the same mental context your brain used to file the memory away in the first place. Your brain isn't failing you when this happens. It's running a completely ordinary process, closing one mental folder and opening the next, and your intention just happened to get filed in the one it closed. It's the same reason you can walk into a familiar house and instantly feel like you're in home mode, or step into an office and feel your focus shift automatically. Your brain is constantly opening and closing these mental folders, and the doorway forgetting effect is just the one moment where you actually notice it happening. If your brain has quirks like this one, it has plenty more, and we break a new one down every week. Grab the free Neuro Quirks Field Guide link below and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.